Hello everyone. Hello.
What if that's the way that I like introduce my videos?
Hello everyone.
I know you would probably unsubscribe. It's cool though. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would do an updated, like my favorite brushes to use. These are actually all going to be eye brushes that I use. I feel like if you guys have been watching my videos, I focus more so towards eyes than I do the entire face. Plus usually when it comes to my face, I don't really use a lot of brushes. I use more so my beauty blender and then probably like my contour brush. I honestly use my beauty blender when I'm dipping into my face powder, so that's why I'm not really showing you guys face brushes, just eyes. Also, I have a mixture of just the MAKEUPSHACK and Morphe. You guys know that I'm pretty cheapo deepo. I don't have any expensive brushes. Again, I'll just be showing you my favorite brushes from the MAKEUPSHACK and my favorite brushes from Morphe. So this is going to be very long. I will list every single brush that I'm mentioning in this video in the description down below. Let's get right into this video because it's gonna be lengthy. It's probably not gonna be lengthy. I always say that it's gonna be lengthy and it's not lengthy. Anyways, let's just get right into it. Also, while I am showing you, I cannot say while. Also, while I am showing you guys or talking about the brushes, I'm gonna throw up videos of them so you guys can get a close-up of them. So let's start off with the T48 flat shader brush from the MAKEUPSHACK. I actually mentioned this brush in my first favorite brushes. This is a flat, very stiff brush. I use this brush to cut my crease because it's so stiff. It's not flimsy, so it's going to help me cut my crease. You can also use these to pack on shimmers, and I highly recommend it because it also has like a very oval shape at the top, so it's perfect for like those halo eyes and obviously cut creases. Alright guys, then we have the T77 brush from the MAKEUPSHACK. This is a small concealer brush. Now it's gonna be kind of weird because on the website and on the MAKEUPSHACK, there's actually two T77 brushes. One is a concealer brush and then the other one is an eyeliner brush, which I will get to at the end of this video. But the one that I'm mentioning here is again a small concealer brush. I use this to conceal and clean the bottom of my brow because it is very tiny and very flat and flexible. So this is the T77. Then you have the T84 Blending taper brush. This is the brush that I've been using as of lately for all of my looks. I stick this brush like right into my crease, and what I like about it is that it's pointy at the end but it's fluffy at the end, like the middle part of the brush, and it's basically going to put your shadow right into your crease while blending everything out, if you guys can see. And you guys know I like to go from dark to lightest, so I will use this brush to actually put my darkest shade into my crease while everything is blended out. Then you have the T45, which is a tapered blending brush. This one is like pretty long, if you guys can see, and at the top it's kind of tapered but also kind of like round and oval. I just think you always need a really good blending brush to blend obviously your shadows, and so I'll typically use this brush when I'm blending out all the shadows right here and smoking everything out. Then you have the T4, which is a pointed blended brush, and if you guys can see, it's pointy at the end and then again it's fluffy in the middle. Now it's kind of like the T84 brush but a little bit bigger. If you guys can see, this is the T4 brush and then this is the T84, which I just mentioned. She's a little bit fluffier in the middle, if you guys can see. So this one's going to just blend out your shadow even more than the T84, whereas the T84 is more precise and it fits right into your crease. Then you have the T87, which is a detail blending brush, and this is a smaller version of the T45 brush that I just showed you guys right now. So here's the T45 that I just showed you guys right now, and then here is the T87 brush. If you guys can see, it's just much smaller than this one right here. So I use this one also to blend out my shadows or to use it in my crease as well. You guys are probably wondering like, oh my god, why do you need like so many blending brushes? But I honestly feel like if this one's dirty, I'll end up using this one. So I just feel like it's good to have like a numerous amount of blending brushes, if that makes sense. You don't have to have like, oh my god, 10 of the same blending brushes. You could have like 4 or 5 that you really love, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to have a bunch. But I personally just have a lot because I've like saved a lot of them, and you know, I've also gotten some from some companies, so that's why I have like a ton of these. But again, you do not need to have all of these brushes that I'm mentioning, okay? Now I'm moving on to one of my favorite brushes that I recently got, and I raved about this one. I mentioned it on my Twitter and on my Instagram. This is the T82 small blending brush. Now this brush is perfect for those that have hooded eyes because it's so tiny, but it's like a little bit fluffy. It's perfect. So you guys can see it fits right into my crease, and look at how tiny it is. You could also use this to like blend out the waterline, but I typically use this in my crease because it's so tiny and it's gonna deposit the shadow that I'm using in the place that I want it to be in. So I highly recommend the T82 brush. Then you have the T59, which is a synthetic blending brush. This is just another big blending brush. I mean, she's bigger than the ones that I showed you guys right now. So this right here is a T59, and then these are the other two that I mentioned. If you guys can see, this one is way bigger than like these two right here. So I always just think that it's important to have a bigger, fluffier brush. That way you could just blend everything out, or if you're doing like a one eyeshadow look, you could just pack on the shadow and boom, and blend everything out, and that's it. Then we have the T14, which is a small detailed brush, and she is so tiny. So I just showed you guys the T82 brush, and this is the T14 brush that I'm talking about right now. And if you guys can see, it's kind of a smaller version of the T82. And this brush, what I use it for is I'll put it in the waterline, or if you have hooded eyes, it's perfect for your crease. But typically I use this one to smoke out my waterline. Now, I always thought that these brushes were so freaking pointless. I was always like, why do like makeup brands or whatever like brush brands create these brushes? They're so pointless. But this T85 detail fan brush, she's a tinier version of like obviously the big ass fan brushes that you guys see. So what I utilize this brush for is I will highlight my brow bone with this, and it fits perfectly right here. And then when I really want to put like my highlighter on my cheekbones in a very precise place, I use this, and I'll just put my highlighter right at the tip of my cheek, like this part right here. So if you guys feel like you guys would want to try this brush, this is the T85. Then you have the T66, which is a tiny detail oval brush, and obviously you guys can see that it's very oval from the tip, and it's pretty flat. It's pretty stiff as well. And what I like to use this brush is either the inner corner of the eye to highlight my brow bone, or when I am doing multiple colors on the lid, I will use this brush. All right, you guys, then I have the T77, which again, I mentioned that there's two T77 brushes, and this one is the liner brush. Now, if you're a person that like draws a bunch of stuff on your eyes, this is perfect for you guys because it's very tiny. I don't use this to create liner. I mean, you can if you want to, but I feel like this brush, I use it more so when I am cutting my crease and I need my crease to be very clean, and I'll just go in and like detail it, if you know what I'm saying. But again, if you create things and like, or you paint people on your face, this is a perfect brush for you. Then you have a T65, which is a mini pencil brush. Who doesn't like a mini pencil brush? It's very important to have one, or at least I think so. I like to use this brush when I am using like the P. Louise spaces, like the colorful ones. I'll like to like stick it right into my waterline, or again, you can use this to get very precise and blend out your waterline. Then you have the T76 eyebrow brush. Now, even though it's an eyebrow brush, I don't use it for that purpose. I use it to create my liner. If you guys saw a bunch of like those neon eyeliners that I was doing, this is the brush that I would use. I just feel like you can stamp your liner on there because it's an angled brush. So that is what I use this brush for. So that is all of my Makeup Shack brushes. You guys know you guys can use my code Rocio in all caps to get 20% off. And now we're gonna move on to the Morphe brushes. All right, guys, so I'm moving on to my Morphe brushes. Now, I do want to mention that there's some brushes that I'm mentioning that are in James's like little brush collection that he came out with. I do highly recommend that brush collection just because if you're a working MUA and you do obviously makeup on clients, his collection was made to where it has doubles of certain brushes and triples of certain brushes as well. So I think the M456 is in his brush collection, and in it has like 3 or 2 of them. So that's great if you are doing clients' faces and stuff. So I highly recommend it. All right, you guys, so starting off with the M506 tapered mini. Now, this brush is exactly that. It's a tapered mini blending brush. It's perfect for the crease. It's perfect for those that have hooded eyes. So if you guys can see, it'll go right into your crease. It's very tiny, and you can deposit your shadows in a very specific place or wherever you want them. Also, it's great to like blend out your waterline. Then you have the E36 detailed crease. Now, this is a very tiny brush. This is also great to smoke out your waterline, but again, if you have hooded eyes, you can stick your shadows right into your crease. crease. I wouldn't really blend with this one because it's kind of stiff, but it's great to add shadow right into your crease. Then you have the M514 Detail Round Blender brush, and if you guys can see, it's pretty like rounded at the tip but very fluffy in the middle. This is great to deposit your shadows right into the crease as well and then blend everything out. Also, this is a really good brush for those that have hooded eyes because it's very tiny and it's going to fit right into your crease. Now this is a brush that I highly recommend to those that have hooded eyes. Again, this is the M562 Tiny Crease Blending Brush. It is hella tiny. I mean, it's like long, but it's very skinty. So this is the brush that I just showed you guys right now, and this is the M562 brush. This brush is so tiny compared to the one over here. And what this brush will do is deposit the shadow right into your crease while blending every single thing out. And again, it's perfect for hooded eyes. Now this is kind of weird. I know one of these brushes are in James's brush collection. You have two M441 brushes. One of them right here is a blending brush. It's fluffy and it's rounded at the tip. Then you have the other M441 brush and it's tapered. It's like pointed at the end and then it's fluffy in the middle. So I'm gonna show you guys. So you see how this one right here is rounded and then this one is pointed. I don't know if Morphe messed up when they were doing this or if they custom created a new M441 brush for James's collection, but this was mad confusing. But these two I highly recommend. These are perfect for blending out shadows. I wouldn't necessarily use them in the crease because they're bigger, just to blend out like your transition shade. All right, you guys, so the next three brushes that I'm showing you guys are like oval brushes. There's a big one, a medium one, and a small one, and I recommend all three of them. So the first one is the M433 brush, and this is just again a firm blending fluffy brush, and it's definitely fluffy, it's definitely flexible. And what I like to do with these brushes is either stick them on my crease, or when I'm doing like a rainbow look and I'm using multiple colors, I like to pick up this brush and like do red and orange and yellow and green. So I do have multiples of this brush and I use them for that purpose. Then you have the R39 tapered blending brush, and again, this is another oval brush, and this is the medium brush. This is the R39 right here, and then this is the one that I just showed you guys. That is another oval brush, and if you guys can see, it's a little bit smaller than this one right here. Again, I'll put this right into my crease, or I'll use it to put different colors onto my lid. All right, guys, then you have a smaller oval M456 brush. It's supposed to be a mini firm blending brush, and I want to show you it next to the other two that I just mentioned. So if you guys can see, this is like the papa, the mama, and the baby bear. You know what I'm saying? That was corny, but that's the best I could describe it. So this is just a smaller version of the two that I just showed you guys. Again, I like to use this right into the crease or when I am doing different colors, or you can use it also to smoke out your waterline. Then you have the M124 firm shadow brush. Now this brush, you guys have seen it in my neon shadow look. I use this to cut my crease. I'll put a little bit of makeup remover on it, and then I will clean my lid so I could create a crease and add another color onto the lid. I really recommend this one because it's stiff, and obviously you can use it to pack on shadows. Now of course you always need brushes to pack on shadows, so I only have two. So you have the M224 oval flat brush. This is a pretty big flat brush, and obviously you guys can see it's like very oval at the tip. She's pretty stiff as well. So this is a brush that I use to pack on like any of my shimmers or anything that I'm using on the lid. Then you have another flat brush, which is the M166 oval shadow brush. Now this one is a little bit stiffer than the one that I showed you guys right now. This is the one I showed you guys right now, and then this is the M166 brush. Now if you guys can see, this one feels like it's a little bit more like scratchier, and this one feels like softer. I use both of them either way to like pack on any color that I'm using on the lid. They're both great. They're pretty big, so I don't really recommend them for those that have hooded lids. I would recommend like something smaller, maybe like the brush that I just showed you guys, which was the M124 brush. Then you have the E62 angled nose contouring brush. Now I mean, the name pretty much describes itself. You can use it to contour your nose, but I do not do that. I actually use this brush to pack on my inner corner. You guys know I like to use a very white inner corner, so I'll just pick up the white shadow and I'll literally pack it on like a bunch of shadow on there because it fits perfect. If you guys can see, obviously it's like a dip right here in your eye, so it just fits perfectly to like put your shadow in there. So that's what I use this brush for. Then last but not least, you have the E20 oval detail buffer brush. Now this brush right here I use all the time to put my P. Louise base because it's big and it's gonna get the job done very quickly. I don't like to sit there and be like, you know, putting on my base forever. I need to go, you know what I'm saying? So this is the E20 brush. You could use this also to like blend out your concealer because it's very soft, it's very dense. You could probably use it to put your cream contouring, but I don't really do that. I just use it for my P. Louise base. Now, an honorable mention, again, since I'm not really like showing you guys face brushes, I did want to mention my MAKEUPSHACK brush. This is the nude one that they have. I believe these retail for $4.99 or $5.99. They also have this one, but I don't really use this one a lot. I like using this one because it's like flat right here and then it's like pointy. Obviously this one's pointy too. This is also from the MAKEUPSHACK, but I don't know, I like this one more because it's flat and I also can like clean my contour. So yeah, this is from the MAKEUPSHACK and it's the nude one. All right, you guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. I hope it wasn't too long and I hope that it was very helpful. Again, I know it's a lot of like of the same brushes over and over again, but I find them useful. I find each one has a purpose, if that makes sense. Again, you do not need to have all of these blending brushes at all, but these are just some of the brushes that I use. Plus, again, if you are like a working MUA, I think it's very important that you have at least doubles of some of these brushes. So again, you do not need to buy all of them as long as you buy like one from here and one from there. But again, I hope this video helped you guys and I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye guys.